Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
You're fired. Everybody's fired. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Oh my. So this is kind of interesting. And we've got people taking two sides to this issue. And I will, of course, play this for you and explain mine. I'm really curious what all of you think. Now, this may be very difficult to hear, but I'll repeat it. But just the volume is low. I've got my system cranked up all the way. It's still hard to hear Holly, but we will take a listen to what she says about Caitlin Clark and the last time she came back from an injury. Okay. So let's dig into this. Wow, sorry, you probably really couldn't hear that. I thought was able to get it a little louder than that, but basically what she said was the last time they're going to be more cautious because the last time Caitlin Clark came back from injury, she did not practice at all. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, well, that's pretty normal." And people are saying, "Oh, well, that's Caitlin. She wanted to come back." So yes, sort of, and yes, sort of. Of course, it does depend on the injury. Okay, if you have a minor injury, bumps and bruises, a knock here or there, whatever, and you're out for a very short period of time, it's not anything for which there is medical clearance or that you've missed a lot of time that maybe you need to get a little wind back in terms of your game conditioning or something that you really, really need to test under more intense playing conditions other than just, going on a treadmill or doing some cutting exercises or whatever it is that they're having you go through to test out how you're healing. And with Caitlin Clark, we know we have multiple injuries. I think this is the fourth, right? So we're talking about her coming back from the third injury already, the third leg injury this season, and she didn't even practice. Now, she wasn't out a ton. They're all running together at this point. Well, she had a few games maybe, but it is shocking to me. And again, as a as a player who played through everything, was like, no, I was like the Black Knight in the forest in Monty Python's Holy Grail, right? Getting his arms chopped off, and he's like, "It's just a flesh wound." That was me. It's just my leg didn't fall off. I'm ready to go, coach. But that being said, that is why there are staff. That is why there are coaches to sometimes protect athletes from themselves. It's been, I can't remember how long it's been, but in terms of the league, it's relatively recent, and that is the whole concussion protocol stuff, right? We see it in, I mean, the biggest one, of course, was the NFL, but we see it in everything, but the NFL the most. And why do we have it? Because players want to play. I'm good, coach. How many fingers? Two. I'm good. Let me play. Great recent example for me is Jalen Hurts. He missed a couple games last year because of a concussion. Still iffy on whether that's true or not, but he got an absolute dirty play by the Washington Redskins player who was headhunting Jalen Hurts while he was on the ground, went helmet to helmet. Jalen popped up. I guess he knew the ref was looking at him because he knew he just got hit helmet to helmet, and boom, gives him the thumbs up. Right, he's ready to go. But guess what? He went to concussion protocol. He failed. He missed, I think, 2 games. And that is the whole reason that we even have that in sports. It is to protect athletes from themselves. When it's anything more than your typical bump, bruises, knocks, even, slight ankle sprains or whatever, they may tweak it and they may roll it and they walk it off and it gets warm and they're all good. Anything other than that, when you've got a player who's got a real injury that keeps them out multiple games, that is something, and here's the key, that is something that can be further injured. then yes, the decision to play is taken out of the player's hands. And yes, you have them go through some type of practice when they're getting ready to play a game. Yes, I know because people say it. Yes, there are definitely times when that doesn't happen when the player is out for a very short period of time when they it's not an injury or something that could get worse. Great example for me. Broke my foot. It really fractured my foot. Okay, it was it was a hairline fracture and hurt like hell. But it was during soccer season. Went to the doctor, got the X-ray, showed it to me, talked about it, this and that. And the bottom line was, if I played, it was all about pain management. If I could handle the pain, playing put me at no greater risk of that injury. So of course I played. I taped the foot and ankle up to the point where I actually went out and bought the same boots, the same cleats that I was wearing. I bought them in like one and a half or two sizes bigger to wear the bigger one on that specific foot. But my point being, that was something where it's like, hey, we know what it is. We know there's no more risk. So it's like, it's going to hurt. But if you're okay with the pain that it causes, you're good to go. With Caitlin's injuries, I don't think that's the case. You're talking about strains of the groin, which can be even slight ones with the groin, man, that is big, especially for an basketball player or anybody, soccer player, football player, like running back, cornerback. Those are big time injuries that cause a lot of problems, and there's something that you can make worse. So in this case, I'm not saying all cases because I know I'm going to get the yappers, but in this case, it is shocking to me that Caitlin Clark didn't at least go through one practice or at least go through after her own thing of warming up and whatever drills and tests they're having her do when she's like, yeah, I feel great, then to at least get some other players and run through a little full court where yeah, they might be like kind of like the quarterback with the red shirt in training camp, where no, you're not knocking Caitlin around and you're not fouling Caitlin, but you are playing the game so that offensively and defensively, she has to do the things that she would do in a game at basically that intensity in terms of her movement and her change of direction and her jumping and all of that that comes into play in a game. See how that goes in that practice, see how she feels, and then you move on to a game. She gets the green light for that, you move on to the game. But with an injury like this, I do not understand why you would not have Caitlin Clark go through at least one practice or at least the way I just described it before the full green light of, okay, it's time to play. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you being here as always. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make me feel better because the stress of like awesome Saturday, everybody loved that video. And then yesterday was like the worst day the channel has ever had. It's like, talk about your highs and lows, man. I'm gonna have to get some Prozac. But anyway, uh, go have a fantastic day you deserve. I will talk to you later.